then, we may fade back a little bit. Yesterday, even though the market looks right now like it's like still in this big downtrend, there were a lot of stocks that are starting to show signs of rebounding and signs of bottoms, right? I mean, you have big days from some of these stocks like Twilio. Man, there was so many, right? Tesla. You saw a lot of these stocks, and you're starting to see like bottoming patterns in a lot of these kind of stocks. They've just come down so far. At this point, they're starting to show signs of bottoming, even if the general market is looking like, it's in still a big downtrend. We are starting to see some signs of, bottoming. So we'll have to kind of keep mind of that. It was just, overall, one thing that we always like to do right in the morning, look at, your liquid gainer scan versus your top loser scan, right? When you got 379 items in the watch list on the liquid gainer scan versus 45 on the top losers, what that indicates is market breadth. When you have that many more breakouts than breakdowns, then that indicates a really healthy day. Sometimes when the indexes move up a lot like they did yesterday, you don't necessarily get that many breakouts. And so what that indicates is weak market breadth, which tells you that underneath the hood there's not as much action, but yesterday was showing something different. So that's pretty good. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Taylor Jordan, hello, how are you, my friend? Let's take a look at some of the different gappers for today. Save is on the list over here, right? This stock, if it can break and hold over 54, this is probably something that we can watch for an ORB. In general, airlines have been really hot the last, month anyway. So it's the right sector also. You're kind of getting this thing breaking out to a yearly breakout, it looks like. Always a plus. Not bad. I think we keep that one on the list. And dump this HIB. This Halo had a PR out. This thing's starting to get dusted a little bit here. We'll keep an eye on this. If this thing kind of breaks and holds under this 1425, 1450. Hey, Jay. How you doing? Hey, Anthony. What's up? If this thing breaks and holds under 1450, I think we'll have a trade in this on the short side. Right? Let your patterns build as long as it hangs under, your key level. Good. The Buckle's getting dusted on earnings. This is, all day's favorite clothing store. This is where you get your Ed Hardy shirts and stuff like that. This one's already breaking out of this bear flag over here. And you can see you got a nice kind of easy-go-lucky trender over here so far, pre-market. I like this one to the short side. We'll watch this one for an ORB. This one actually moves pretty quick to float on. It's not too gigantic, so I think we'll have a little bit of upside on that one also. Yeah. We've got VSEL on this watch list, right? You've got a flag pattern here. Breakout, sideways. You got the 9 EMA curling right up under it. I don't know if this is an easy trader. It does lack liquidity here. For me, this would be this looks more like a swing trade than it would be a day trade. Even though it did 1.4 million shares, it didn't seem to have like that just crazy hot liquidity that you need sometimes to like really shred day trade style. It used to be that, you could have like 500,000 shares in volume on some of these stocks, and they'd actually move pretty damn well. Now I'm noticing, you need like millions for it to really move well. Just nature of the times, I guess. Twilio, big range on it yesterday, 82 to 89. It even moves really clean, right? Flag patterns and all that kind of fun stuff. I think this one's got more upside. You don't have any resistance up until the top of the Bollinger Band, which is like 97, 98. So you could have like a nice kind of 2-3 day run in this if the market holds up. So you're getting a weak open on this slightly. Watch this one for a red to green, right? So a stock like Twilio that has big candles like that will have good red to green opportunities. Same thing with Labu. You know, this one's opening down about $2. You know, $2 or so. If the market goes, watch this one for a red to green too. This is kind of bottoming out, but one thing with Labu that we've been noticing, right, is that it does have some of the best range in it on certain days. You know, it'll move like $4 or $5. So just something to be really mindful of. I've added a couple names to the list. We have this TTD here for a range break. This one also like $12 range yesterday. It's pretty much the same pattern as shop. You could go with either one. I just don't want to put shop on my list because I'm not the shop lord. That would be, you know, Taylor, and so I don't have the right to put it on my list. So what I've done is taken a replacement with the same pattern. So this TTD is kind of this 130 break over here. Should have some additional upside. You can see this thing, like when it really starts to cook, you know, you can really cook it. Even if you got a smaller account and say you're trading 50 shares of it, if something can move $10, you can trade that back and forth. Remember that, you know, oftentimes we get sucked into thinking we can only trade something that's really cheap. That's not the case, right? You can have less shares, but if something's going to move $5, $10, you can still have yourself a nice day and good range on those things. Add Tesla to the list too. You remounted your 2 moving averages over here. I think that one's going to have a little bit of juice. And then this Crocs, if some of you guys swing trade, I'm eyeballing this one for a potential swing. You can see here this thing's been holding for at the 25 spot for a few days. You finally broke and close over the 9 EMA. This one's got, breakout to highs written all over it. You'd have basically a $1.50 stop loss, and this thing, it's got room up till maybe 30s and 30, 31 before you really run into any level of supply or resistance. So I do like the range on that bad boy. Keep a couple solars on the list. This SPWR had a nice day. Hat tip to Justin. Told me about this yesterday. I think this one will have some room into the 758 zone today. Had a big volume pop. You got a nice basing pattern on it. And then, if you like some of these kind of smaller cap stocks, I think this BIOS has probably got a little bit more action in it. It just broke out of its consolidation yesterday with the big volume pop. And you can even see, intraday, it had a really nice, easy kind of breakout pattern at 340. So it's got good range on it. You want to see, when you have flat top breakouts or base breakouts, what you want to see on these things is, number one, does it break clean? The other part is, does it actually give you, the range you need, right? Can it push? Can it push with some range and do it quickly? Because a lot of stocks, what they do, you guys ever see this, where they just pop for, one candle, and then they sit around all damn day. So then it's it shows it's up 4 or 5% or 10%, but you're no, it wasn't even tradable. It popped all in the first 2 seconds, and then it just sat around, right? So what we like to do, right, we need to find stocks that are going to have the ability to, of course, break out when they want, but then trend and trade back and forth where you actually can, right, be a trader and, right, sell rips and buy dips and wait for your patterns and all that kind of stuff. And so there's always a little bit of a difference between a stock that moves a lot in percentage terms versus a stock that's actually tradable, right? And so there's always a little bit of a difference. Sometimes you'll see a caveat in it. I know a bunch of people have been asking about this, this any, and I don't have any opinion on it at the moment. I think you can probably keep it on your watch list, but Anthony shredded this thing in the chat room yesterday all day. He was ripping on this thing right from the open, and he even got back in, in the view near the view at midday. But what I don't like is when they kind of fade off, when they fade off hard into the close like that, where they're down 20, 30, 40, 50%. The subsequent pops can get faded off sometimes. So you got to be kind of real mindful of it. It might be worth something watching, but probably the easy money was made on this thing. The thing almost doubled yesterday, right, before it kind of collapsed back. Dun, 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 dun. I think that's pretty much it for the watch list. We'll have to keep things really simple today. as always, when the market's got this much range and you're kind of gapping up and down 5%, 6%, stuff like that, you don't need like a huge watch list of just stuff. Have a few items on your list and just let it shred, because the momentum is all there in most of these names. My plan for today is to watch the open. If market's about to go red to green, first hits are Twilio, Labu, as those tend to have the best ranges at the open. And then, of course, we have some of these gappers and stuff like that to shred around with. So that is the big show. As always, we start boot camp class tonight, so I'll see most of you guys, if anything, in class. We've got one hell of a month planned for boot camp class. So, 2019, if your 2018 sucked D, well, make sure your 2019 doesn't start sucking D by actually doing some studying in December. We'll hit the ground running. I'll make sure to condense boot camp and really get this thing going so that January 1st, 2019, we've got all the trading knowledge out. So we'll push probably in December, even though it's Christmas and stuff. We'll be running through classes. Of course, we won't have class on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, but we'll have the days before and the days after, the 26th, 20, So class 4 days a week, 8 p.m., all of December, but we start tonight. It's going to be pretty fun. I'm going to see most of you guys there anyway, so let's go and shred and do what we got to do. All right? My friends, Mr. Harper, Mr. Z, Eddie, all day. Let's go do what we do, baby. Let's make some monies. All right? Peace.